welcome once again, friends. We are back with episode 2 of our racing vlog. Last time was such a success that we've decided to do it again. If you watched the first episode, then you'll know that we won by the tiniest of margins on the line in a 1-2 for snow in a mixed category event, so I was really pleased with that. And this time we're going to do a different one. It's also Sunday morning, but this time we're going to move across to the Evo CC Sprint Series race. And I'm quite excited about this one because it's a route I've not done before. It's a route that looks really cool, an old rebel route, so created by somebody, one of the Zwift community, as a meet-up route where you take in manual turns. And they liked it so much, Zwift liked it so much, that they decided to make it into a proper route. So that's this week, and it's Downtown Titans. So you get the first bits through the desert, and then you get a little bit through the jungle. You do the rollers in the jungle, you hit the Titans reverse, KOM, the short one, and then you go back through Watopia, you head up and you hit the Watopia, again, reverse, KOM, the short one, and then back down the other side. You've got 7 sort of K of rollers until you hit the sprint finish along the Watopia seafront. So it's the descent finish. So, not done this one before, really excited to try it. I'm not alone, I have my teammate Colin, my ace lead out man. His name on the screen is Niloc, but he's a really good rider. He's going to probably try and work for me today, so he's just trying to get to fitness, trying to sort of push himself. So I said to him, don't worry about that, we'll take care of that, I can definitely put you to good use. So he's going to be doing the dirty work for me on the climbs, on the flat, trying to put pressure on people, and then maybe give me a lead out on the sprint if we get that far. So yeah, be excited to see how we get on. It's not the strongest of fields, but it's not the weakest either. Probably going to be around 30 riders, some really strong B riders in there with a really good sprint, really good 20 minutes, so we've got to be careful. And I think my aim today is going to be to try and spread the group out, whittle it down as much as possible on the 2 climbs. So other than the 2 climbs, I think it's quite a flat course. So I think if people don't get binned off on those 2 climbs, they're going to the finish. So my best bet, probably with someone with near the top of the 20-minute power for the category signed up, especially 5 minutes, is to sort of try and push on those 2 KOMs and get rid of as many riders as I can to give me and Colin a chance at a sprint finish. I'd be really hoping for one of me or Colin to get in the top 3 today. Really, we're looking to win because, you know, that's what we like to do. But like I said last time, we're not taking these races too seriously. They're supposed to be a gauge of fitness, a way to stay sharp in the ZRL off season, keep ourselves in good fighting shape for when the races that matter turn around. So we'll see what happens today. We might have a bit of fun. We might do some silly things on the climbs, attack from silly places, just to see sort of what the group does, how they respond. And if there's 2 of us in the finish, we'll look to try and do something, if we've got anything left anyway. So yeah, excited to see. Because it's going to be the first time I'm racing this course, I've seen the profile, and I know what to expect, but they never really pan out like that, do they? So I think the rollers before the first climb, probably an underratedly hard part of this course. And coming out of the Watopia tunnel before the KOM, there's a little rise there. So it has the potential to be a bit nasty, but we'll give it our best bet, and we're going to really just try and stay sharp. And if you spot anything whilst we're racing that you don't agree with, you don't like the look of, you're wondering why I did it, drop me a question in the comments and I'll try and answer it for you. Sometimes there's method to the madness, and sometimes it's just madness. Oh, it looks like I've got Silas from Snow today signed up, so there's 3 of us. Silas is a really strong rider. Do you hear that music? Because I am ready to dance. Let's get on and do this. What sort of music do you listen to when you're riding? All right, warm up done. It's nearly time for the event. All right, let's do this, folks. I'll see you in the pen.
So as we set off, there's not too many people. It's 25 riders, not the biggest, not the smallest field, just right for a Sunday morning. And we have a look at the course, Downtown Titans. We're not expecting to have too much difficulty. We're just on the rollers here. But the first major difficulty is the KOM at the 6 kilometre mark, which is the Downtown Titans reverse, the short one. So we're just trying to sit in until that point, do as little work as possible, get over the rollers in one piece as we approach the climb. So we'll have a look at this in double speed. We're not going to sit through it at normal speed, but we want to have a close look at what we're doing here. So the tactics were quite straightforward. Me and Colin decided that we were probably two of the stronger riders in this group based on what we saw on Zwift Power. So we really wanted to just put the hurt on this first climb, shred as many people as we can, and sit at the front of the group having a steady but brutal pace. We don't want to get away here. We're only 10 minutes in, 6 kilometres. There's still 18.5k to go. It's way too early to be off the front solo or just two of us trying to hold off a group of 25. But if we can shred a few of the riders now, get a bit of a stronger selection, have a bit of a stronger group to work with as we go over the top of this KOM, then we'll be happy. So we're just sitting here doing an uncomfortable but steady pace that we know we're going to be able to hold to the top. And it's working. We're managing to shred quite a few riders here. Unfortunately, we didn't quite pay attention to Silas, who's our really strong rider that was just off the back, and he was about 15-20 metres. So when we pushed over the top there, we probably shredded Silas along with a couple of others. So not ideal, but a lesson there for us to pay attention to what's going on. So Silas fights to get back on, but he never quite manages to get on, just showing the power of the draft really. And you can really push after the top of that KOM, but if you're not in the group with the draft, it's almost impossible to get back onto a group of 10 or so riders who are reasonably strong. So me and Colin sit in here, try and do as little work as possible. I'm just sat at the back of the group and we just wait for the next difficulty, which is the Watopia reverse KOM, the short one. So again, on this one, we're going to watch it in 2 speed so we can see what's going on. And it's a similar sort of tactic to the last one. We've just decided to kind of go as hard as possible on this climb without killing ourselves, without going off the front, just to see if we can really reduce that group down further before the inevitable sprint finish. This is probably the last major difficulty, so we don't want to let anybody get away, and if we get away, we're happy with that. As opposed to the last climb, which was, you know, there was 18.5k left to go. This one is only 7.8k. It's still quite far out, but a lot of it's downhill, and we wouldn't mind getting away here, so we're just going to put in a little bit of a burst. I'm trying to make sure that if I get away, I've got a good gap, so I'm not just sort of wasting energy. But as you can see, there's a few really strong riders. Niloc is not getting dropped here. The Norwegian rider is definitely not getting dropped here. Colin, really, really strong, showing that he's, you know, within the top riders in B category. And we go over the top of this as everything comes back together, but we've managed to achieve our goal. We've reduced the group down a little bit, and we've got a reduced group to work with as we approach the final couple of K, giving us a good chance. We've got 2 riders in that main group of 4 here, so we're really pleased with that. As you'll see now as we fast forward, we do get joined by another couple of riders, making it about 6 or 7, so that group comes back together again. And there's a bit here that's quite funny. We're going to slow it down. Me and Colin decided to put in a little bit of a burst here to see if we could shred any more riders. So we went really hard, or what I thought was really hard, on the front, thinking this is a really good pace. We're putting the hurt on people here, and I'm thinking this has definitely done the trick. We've definitely managed to shred a few people. But as we go over the top, I can't really see what's going on behind me. I said to Colin, did anybody snap onto the wheel easily? Did anybody look like they had no problems whatsoever getting on there? And Colin went, yeah, everybody. And that takes us to the last little rise before the final couple of K. We did do a little bit of a move here, but everybody else was thinking the same thing. And as you can see from the numbers, everyone was really wise to it, straight on our wheel. So we couldn't get away there. We didn't manage to drop anybody. And at this point, we know exactly what that means. It's coming down to the sprint finish. So we'll have a look here at the final kilometre. Colin made the hero call. He shouted out over the mic, I'm not feeling great, I haven't got the sprint, I'll do the lead out. So real hero call from Colin there, volunteering to sacrifice himself for me trying to get the win. We think we've probably got a good chance here with the sprinters in the group. So I tell Colin to sort of go to the front. I'm going to tell him to launch it in a minute. I want to go from the back of the group if possible, force them to chase Colin, and either Colin will get away and get the win, or I will get towed by the rest of the group to the finish line. So as you can see, Colin launches it there. I tell him to go. I delay it just a second, and then I snap onto the back of the group. Colin flies past everybody. He's really, really strong there. The group gives me a beautiful slingshot effect. I grit my teeth, chomp down on the pedals, and just smash it as hard as we can. And really controversial moment there as I mug Colin on the line. You can see me shake my head there, realising I've just taken my teammate's win away from him. And as if that doesn't make it bad enough, it would have been Colin's first Zwift win. So I'm sure people will have something to say in the comments there about me brutally mugging my teammate for the win after he did a fantastic lead out into thin air on the front of the group. And I sat on like a coward at the back, getting the draft and taking the win from him. But in all seriousness, you just have to try and do what you can. Colin did a fantastic effort there, but he was slowing a little bit, and I thought that the group was going to catch him. So if the group's going to catch him, I have to catch him and beat the group. So if I'd had a second or two longer there to realise that Colin probably would have hung on, I would have just eased up a little bit. But if I'd eased up in the last couple of metres and the group had come past me and Colin, we would have really been devastated and we would have really messed that up. So unfortunate for Colin there, but he did sacrifice himself for the greater good of the team for me to get the win. So a beautiful 1-2 for the team there, all thanks to Colin doing the hard work and me taking the glory. So as always, let's take a look at the power at the end and we'll have a look at what really happened. We can see that Colin worked a lot harder than me. His 20-minute power was 3.6, mine was only 3.2, which is what you get when you're sort of sat at the back drafting the group the most of the time. Colin was the person that would pull back any small little attacks on rises, etc., or put in a few digs. So he was working harder than me on the flat, meaning that his average power for the 20 minutes in the whole ride was a lot higher than mine. As we can see though, my average power was really low compared to most of the other riders in the group, showing that you don't need to have high average power to win a race. It's about saving your energy for those big moments. My average power for both of those comms was exactly 5.6 watts per kilo for both of them, so 5.6 watts per kilo twice. So 3.2 watts per kilo doesn't really tell the whole story. As we can see, looking at the normalized power there, which is considerably higher than the average. The average is 192, which is just over 3.2, and the normalized is 239, which is actually 4 watts per kilo, 1 watt below 4 watt per kilo, which is significantly different to 3.2, and that tells us the whole story. So I hope you found that useful. Thanks for watching this episode. Catch us on the next one. I think we're going to do Downtown Titans again next week and try and do it solo. Colin said he's not around, so we're going to try and defend our crown and do it on our own. Catch you on the next one.